I'm telling you, from tomorrow, just brush your teeth with your left hand. I'm not joking. Just go and brush your teeth with your left hand. Yeah. So
now I'm going to be a superhuman. Now I'm in.
Absence of a purpose at this point of time in people, in today's generation especially, is missing.
And whenever a person talks about mental health, he's been treated that, are you a mental, that you are going to a doctor or a counselor. So talk about how important is spirituality with respect to neuroscience.
I'm not promoting smoking or drinking on this channel.
All of a sudden you scold me, or you're like beat me, or you just say something very abusive to me.
I'll just tell you what has to be done.
In 2026, how important is to take care of mental health, which has been treated as a taboo in society?
To do something new is missing. Most of the people are thinking, oh, there will be a jam on that road, there will be a drum on that road. Oh my God, I have to leave now, I have to close the kitchen, I have to do that, I have to do that. Who is concentrating on the activity that you are doing that point of time?
By listening to you, what I got to understand that it's completely null and void.
Plasticity is nothing but networking.
Human performs anything multiple times or 1,000 times, can learn as a learning engine, because he's having the ability to do that naturally.
Absolutely. That is one. That is ischemic stroke. Second is hemorrhagic, wherein the blood pressure is so high that the artery explodes in. Now, whatever you are suffering is not stroke. It is the after effects of stroke. It doesn't take even a fraction of second for you to remove your hand.
Patients. I also was talking to a neurosurgeon recently, and he also said that whenever he performs a surgery for the same problem, then too it has to be taken specifically, exclusively every time for operation. But it's quite different for each individual. So rehab is a term or a keyword which often comes in mind when we talk about drug abuse or something related to that. And we have observed that rehabilitation has been treated as a negative word in the space of medical science or in the society. So in order to initiate the conversation and try to understand exact definition of rehab, I really want to understand, is it a taboo or something related to that, or in simple terms or a common man, what exactly a rehab is?
So rehab, as the word suggests, Daniel, rehab is rehabilitation. That means you are coming back to the habits that you were supposed to do, or the previous activities you were doing, you know. So rehabilitation in terms of drug abuse is totally different. It is basically getting you de-addicted from something which you were consuming or taking in any form, which was having a negative impact on your life. So that is that is de-addiction from drug or substance abuse. Now when it comes to rehabilitation, in terms of physical medicine and rehab, it is completely different. That means it is getting you back to your known activities. For example, like you are into sports, or you are, for example, there is somebody who is a housewife. She is used to do her house chores and taking care of the family, taking care of the household activities. So getting her back into those activities, rehabilitating into those activities. Somebody is into sports, so getting them rehabilitated back to the sports activities. So rehabilitation is nothing but getting you back to what you were.
So it's more of a bounce,
teaching you your habits again.
A bounce back to the original form of what you used to do.
Yes.
So that's the exact definition
of rehabilitation.
That is the rehabilitation,
and it is not taken in a negative sense in the medical fraternity. Yes, for drug abuse it is taken. Obviously, it is deweaning somebody of some, you know, what kind of addiction they were used to. But this is completely different. So when you come to medical rehab, it is there in orthopedic ailments, it is there in neuro ailments, it is there in cardiac ailments, it is there, it is taken as a preventive thing in case of gynecology. So there are different fields where rehabilitation is applied, and it is very, very, very important for us to come back to for us to complete the circle of recovery. Without rehabilitation, it is not possible.
Perfect. So what you told me is quite new for me as a non-medical background student. So what I got to understand, like what you used to talk in university days, that any person who is too much into drug abuse or into alcoholism or something related to that has been put up into rehab, and they've been beaten, they've been treated in a very bad manner, and that's how once they are through that process and cycle, they are free from the addiction, but the condition is still quite bad. But as you have said, that it's more of a generic term which could be...
Yes, so this was it. The rehabilitation was only used for drug, people who used to consume drug. But now, for the past, I would say not more than a decade, a word physiotherapy is now being used as rehabilitation.
So it's more of a synonym for it?
No, it's not a synonym. Physiotherapy was just one field. That is the physical medicine per se. But if you talk about rehabilitation is a comprehensive thing. Okay. So it is not just specific to physiotherapy. It involves a lot of things according to the condition of the patient for whom you are designing the rehabilitation. It is never that, it is not, it is a kind of prescription. Okay. Like you have medical prescription of medicines. So rehabilitation in itself has got a prescription wherein you have some doses of exercise, some doses of speech therapy, some doses of occupational therapy, some doses of other activities which will make you comprehensively better.
Okay.
The outcome would be you not getting only better in one field, but yes, overall you are getting
better. What I get to understand, like in technology, what we have, that AR is an umbrella term, and then in AI we are having machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, all of that. So you're saying that rehabilitation is more of an umbrella term in which we have physiotherapy and multiple neuro rehab and also rehab and whatsoever. Fine, that's amazing to understand at this point of view. So we have just reduced the definition of rehab from just specific to drug, but rather it's quite comprehensive and quite colossal. Amazing. Moving forward, I really want to understand, as you have said, that physiotherapy is a physical medicine that's been given to patients, which includes multiple activities and procedures. When we talk about rehab, and specifically talking about neuro rehab, which is your expertise and your area of work, neuroscience or neuro is always what we understand as a common man is connected to mind and brain cellular activities, and rehab is more of a physical condition that's been given to a patient to make him come back to normal. So when I talk neurorehab as a definition or neurorehab as a particular discipline, what exactly it is with respect to brain, mind, and physical activities combined together?
So neurorehabilitation is applied for patients. So before I explain about neurorehabilitation, there are two supreme controllers of our body, that is the brain and the spinal cord. So these are like in your AI, you must be having a data bank. If the data bank is not working properly, nothing flows.
Yes, true.
Okay.
True.
So in case of in the human body, your brain and the spinal cord is your controller. Okay.
Brain and spinal cord. Okay.
Yeah. So for example, if you touch something hot, within seconds you remove your hand from that.
Is there sensors?
Yeah. So it is within. It doesn't take even a fraction of second for you to remove your hand. Yes. So that is a relaying of message from the brain. It sends something hot and it conveyed the message to your muscle that immediately you have to remove your hand to avoid any kind of burn. So this is such a beautiful thing that is there in a human body. Okay, without those signals from the brain and the spinal cord, you are nothing. You cannot function. If I have to grab a cup of coffee, my brain has to give a signal that extend your hand, grab the handle of the cup, take it and have the sip. So this might sound very simple when we are like in day-to-day living, but when it stops, or when the functions are hampered due to brain attack, that is stroke, or a spinal cord injury, or somebody meets with an accident and injures the brain or the spinal cord. These simple things take a back seat. Today I am walking, talking, driving, buttoning my shirt, taking a bath, brushing my teeth, everything I'm doing because my brain and my spinal cord is connected and I'm able to do this. The signals are running properly. But in case of people who have suffered a stroke or any spinal cord injury, these things are hampered. So neurorehabilitation is nothing but restoring these connections. You were using a term that day about axons and dendrites, and
Yes.
so axons and dendrites do nothing but convey these signals, to the muscular joint which has to perform this activity. So we basically restore them through the neurorehabilitation program. That is the crux of neurorehabilitation. So and it is different. The neurorehabilitation is never same for any two patients or any two conditions. Even if two people have suffered the same kind of injury or same kind of symptoms they have, but the approach for every patient would be different.
Different.
Yeah.
I also, as you said, that it's always different and always unique for multiple patients or different patients. I also was talking to a neurosurgeon recently, and he also said that whenever he performs a surgery for the same problem, then too it has to be taken specifically, exclusively every time for operation. But it's quite different for each individual. Body is like, we see the anatomy of a body, it's same, but then too the peculiarities and the detailing is quite different, and the procedure need to be taken into consideration.
So in case of neurorehabilitation, if for example, let us take an example of stroke. So there are two types of stroke. One is there is a clot which gets stuck in one of the arteries in the brain, and for a few seconds the oxygen supply through that part after the clot is affected. So the area of that brain, whichever area of the body that part of the brain controls, gets hampered. That is one. That is ischemic stroke. Second is hemorrhagic, wherein the blood pressure is so high that the artery explodes inside the brain and there is leakage of blood. So the symptoms of these two conditions are completely different. So now, for example, if two people have suffered an ischemic stroke, both have suffered an ischemic stroke, I cannot give the same kind of treatment to both of them because I need to keep in mind the complete medical history of the patient, the age of the patient, the previous life of the patient. For example, I have an 80-year-old who was active all her life. So her brain is conditioned to be active. So for that person, when I start exercise prescription or any kind of activities, her brain recognizes and starts responding very fast. Now, even if she's 80-year-old, but for a 40-year-old who has been having a very lazy lifestyle and doesn't do any activities, has just been having a very bad lifestyle, smokes, drinks, doesn't move, does not do any exercise, for him, when I start any kind of neurorehab, my approach has to be completely different because I cannot expect him to just start, I command him and he starts doing anything or everything. So neurorehabilitation is it is a science. It has to be designed in such a way that every patient benefits from it. In a way, his or her brain is conditioned. It cannot be general.
I wonder, on a daily basis, as you've said, from buttoning our shirts to brushing and walking and talking and all of that, we even don't think about it even once, and we just do it randomly. But for the patients who have been having a stroke or been struck by a stroke in any of the recent times, I wonder how difficult it would be to just even move their hand or just they put up things or just anything.
So that is why I was insisting on the fact that it is a very comprehensive approach, because the loss is not physical. It is mental, it is emotional. When you if somebody has got a stroke and his bowel and bladder movements are affected, and he has to take the help of people to do the basic activities, which is very private. So can you imagine the mental or emotional impact that thing has? So that is why neurorehabilitation is a very big umbrella, and there is a lot of small fragments to it, which has to be collated very scientifically for the patient to benefit
from it. All right, might be people who are listening to us at this point of time, or somebody might be having a stroke and he's not having the pathway or the roadmap or how to recover. Might be the people who are nearby him suggest that stroke is for a lifetime. You have to be with it and live with it, and there is no solution. So a person who is 20 years of age, a person who is 80 years of age, a person who is a aged person of 40, 45 years of age who is listening to us at this point of time, as a doctor, being critical, in being rational, in not giving false hopes, tell me, what's the process or what's the roadmap for any person of any age in reality to recover and come back to normal and be independent of how he used to be or how she used to be? What's the reality check up here? Is it really possible to come back to normal?
So if you talk about stroke specifically,
yes,
I am not talking about spinal cord injury or the brain injury, because the impact is totally different. In case of stroke, it is totally different.
Yes.
So if somebody who's, as you said, who's listening to us and has had the impact of stroke in their lives, so the only problem today in this time is that people are not aware
of here.
Okay.
True.
So now they had some comorbidities, that they had a high blood pressure, they had something or the other which led to stroke. Okay. Now they have got the stroke, they are suffering from the after effects of stroke. You must understand that. The stroke came, it stuck you were managed in the acute emergency care. The causative factors of stroke were controlled by the medical management. Now, whatever you are suffering is not stroke. It is the after effects of stroke. Okay. So those after effects lead you to a disabled life. You are dependent. But you must always understand that the Creator has made our brain so beautifully that there are so many neural networks. I mean, there are so many connections in the brain that if you undergo neurorehabilitation, either at a physical center or you take telerehabilitation, because you see, people think that if they do not have access to a physical center, they cannot get better. That's not the thing. In neurorehabilitation is completely different from other rehabilitations, wherein in other rehabilitation, mostly the therapist is required to perform the activity on the patient.
True.
Okay. But in case of neurorehabilitation, the story is completely different. Why it is different? Because neurorehabilitation is self-teaching. You have to teach your brain to get back to what it used to be. I cannot do it on you. I'll just guide you. I'll just tell you what has to be done. But your brain will recognize only the things which you used to do. So I have to make you do. So even if you are 1,000 kilometers away from you and I give you, rehab through a virtual connect, then also your recovery is possible. The only thing that you have to keep in mind is keep going. Even if you have passed about 5 to 10 years, stroke, you have not taken any rehab. I'm not saying that you will get 100% normal. Obviously, the after effects have settled inside the body. There is tightness, there are contractures. If a lot of times passes after stroke, but I'm telling you, if you keep taking neurorehab, you can get better from your present condition, whatever it is. I'm absolutely not saying that you'll get 100% better,
yes.
but you can be functionally better at whatever stage you are.
I want to also understand more about telerehab, as you said that even if I'm in some other country or some remote place and not in front of you physically, then too you can provide me a rehab specific to neuro rehab and I can get better. I really want to understand in detail about this. For example, in physiotherapy, what I have I've observed as a observer in hospitals and different physiotherapy settings, that if I'm having a problem, the physiotherapist pushes me to just do it, like relax and open it up and all of that. So I've seen that it's more of a physical science that's taking place, and the patient is recovering by doing it multiple times over the couple of weeks and finally getting it recovered. But in this case, specific to neurorehab, if I'm sitting in some different country, what you would do apart from just telling me or conveying your message or motivating me in form of rehab so I can get better? Would you just be directing me to move around and I would be moving and showcasing you? Or in that case, since I'm not nearby you physically, how you would monitor and check all the weeks that I am recovering or not? I really want to understand, because many of the people might be having this question of how exactly tele-rehab is a marvelous thing. Though technology is empowering everything, but is it really providing us the same benefit of what physical rehab setting would do? Want to talk more about that?
Yeah. So in case of telerehabilitation, what we do is that once we understand that some patient cannot come to our physical centers, then we do a virtual consultation with that patient. Okay, that is the first step. We understand the complete medical history. How was the patient before? We understand, we take notes of everything, and then we evaluate the patient over a virtual consultation. Okay, that is the first and foremost step. Now, when I evaluate, or my team evaluates the patient's present condition, we make a customized plan according to his condition, whatever we have noticed in the virtual consultation. Then there is a prerequisite when we provide telerehabilitation. Either the patient should be having a family, because in stroke, after stroke, there are things which disturbs your balance. There is a lot of loss of strength. There is sometimes loss of sensation in the initial stages, so people might require help. So we always have a prerequisite that the person should be having some helper along with them while we are delivering the telerehab sessions. So now once we have made the customized program, we discuss it in detail with the patient. Now coming to the way we deliver it. Implementation.
Yes.
So our team, our neurorehab expert is in this side and the person with the helper is on the other side. Now whatever we have taken the evaluation and made the plan for that patient, we demonstrated live over here. Okay, we do not instruct the patient or the caregiver to do the movement. No, we demonstrated live here what we are expecting out of that movement. We make a check there. Okay, that is how we are sure that the patient is doing it right. Okay, and in that 1 hour of our session, it is never pre-recorded. For by pre-recorded, I mean that you have a set of exercises that you can just tell that you just do it and we'll see you in the next session. That's not the case.
It's live.
Yeah, if 1.5 hours of session is there on the telerehab, our therapist is here demonstrating each and everything, and even monitoring the time wherein we are wanting that patient or the caregiver to do that movement. Okay, that is how our credibility, that is how we make sure that the patient is doing right. Otherwise there's no point. If I just tell that patient to do something and I sit here without any, monitoring, then the patient cannot get better.
It will be more like you're watching a YouTube video without having anyone.
So there's no difference. Because as I said, neurorehabilitation is a science and it requires a customized approach. I cannot just let the patient be on its own, on his own with a caregiver. No, I have to make sure that the patient is doing what I'm wanting him to do. So coming to your question, this is the answer to our viewers, that our rehab sessions are not pre-recorded sessions, they are live, and that is how we make sure that the patient is going on the right direction. Then obviously in our assessment, we must have marked that currently the shoulder movement is only 20 degrees, the patient is having pain. Then obviously we have checks every week. How much has that improved, how much is the range of motion, how much is the sensation improving, how well is the patient walking, everything we monitor.
I really wonder how you guys are using technology to impact lives, that to not one but many at one point of time, and I really can feel the energy and how many lives you have impacted just by using technology and user expertise and providing
As I was
solutions
telling
to
you
different
before, neurorehabilitation requires you to do the activities. If I do it passively on you, your brain is not recognizing it.
Yes.
See, when you are born, there are certain milestones that you achieve. You know, at the age of 3 months, you start holding your neck. Then that is the way you go prone.
Yeah.
Then you start a little bit
Yes.
of crawling. Then you start a little bit of sitting. You have a waddle gait in about 9 to 10 months, and then by the age of 1.5, you are walking straight. So is there somebody who held your hand to move it
No.
or crawl
No.
it or made you sit? No. So it was the brain's learning,
Yeah.
So that's the same thing that you do in neurorehab. I cannot passively do anything on you and get you better. Yes, of course, you require certain points, you require some maneuvers, which is important for certain things to be aligned, which has gone haywire after stroke. But to get your sensations good, get your sensory motor coordination back, you require to do it, and I'm here to help you. So that is how neurorehabilitation can be given, can be delivered, through telerehab as well. If you are having a shoulder pain, for example, you have injured your rotator cuff, then I cannot tell you to manage yourself through telerehab. You require pain management, which can be there in the physical centers. But in case of neurorehab, it is possible. So for our viewers who are watching this, I would definitely tell them that you should not lose hope in case you are not able to access physical centers in your region.
Yes.
We are here to help you through our telerehab platform as well.
100% true. And as you have said about all of this, I wonder how beautiful human mind or brain is. Like you talked about the recovery cycle, how an infant has been born, and with the time he achieves the milestones and automatically recognize the patterns, and he becomes a human of what he is at this point of time in today's world. And also about that, anything that been happening or has happened to a human could be mitigated and improved and leveraged by performing a certain amount of actions and activities, and automatically he can achieve that. Now, one very common terminology which has been used in neuroscience specifically is neuroplasticity. We as a commoner want to really understand what exactly neuroplasticity is.
So neural plasticity, so as you were telling that, our brain is a beautiful structure. We adapt to, you learn. So everything, whatever we learn has got a blueprint back there. Okay. So the receptors are there, they have that blueprint. So now neural plasticity comes in play every single day.
Okay.
So I am not talking about any stroke or spinal cord injury. You must be generally brushing with your right hand. Try brushing your teeth with the left hand for next 10 days. Try it.
Okay.
The brain will have the neural pathway connected and neural plasticity will develop to learn that thing. And on the 11th day, the problem of you brushing your teeth on the first day would have gone. You would be able to brush your teeth.
Is it possible?
Yes, it is. So neural plasticity is nothing but learning and relearning and relearning and relearning and storing the blueprint back.
And then it's normal for a human to do
you do anything. So you must have seen people who write with both hands. They can write with their right hand, they can write with their left hand. It is not a big thing. You do it, the brain will start recognizing that pattern, and slowly, steadily. I'm not saying it is a one-day affair. No. Like everything has got a time period.
Are you telling me this hypothesis that if we do one thing multiple times, multiple iterations?
It's not hypothesis. It's not hypothesis. This is how we function. This is how we function. I mean, you can read about it. You go and read about neural plasticity. Neural plasticity is nothing but networking of our neurons in the brain. So for example, if one after a stroke or anything, one part of the brain, a little part of the brain is damaged, do you think we can never do that function again? No, that's not the thing. The network of the good a little bit part of that brain would start networking with the good part of the brain, so to adapt to the functions. That is neural plasticity is nothing but networking. In business, we say networking is very important.
Yes.
That is how you reach more people.
Yeah.
So if I am doing a business and I'm just sitting in one room and I think that I can reach my customers, that's not possible.
That's not possible.
So that is the same thing. You can relate it to neural plasticity as well. If a neuron is just sitting idle and not doing anything, or you are not doing anything for the neuron to learn something, or the brain cells to learn something, then you're not achieving anything. Neural plasticity is just relearning through networking.
Trust me, by listening to you and talking what you have told me regarding neuroplasticity, I got to understand that if I perform a certain amount of activity for a certain amount of time, I can become a superhuman. I'm telling you, from
tomorrow, just brush your teeth with your left hand. I'm not joking. Just go and brush your teeth with your left hand, and keep doing that for 10 days, 15 days. You will see the improvement. Your brain will, acha, this is the pattern. Okay, this is the new pattern I'm learning. So once you start doing that, after a certain period of time, you'll feel that the awkwardness of you doing it with the left hand just disappears.
Has gone.
Yeah, so
now I'm going to be a superhuman. Now I'm in a way. So
this is the simplest way I can explain neural plasticity. Neural plasticity is nothing but networking. And that network is only possible when you keep doing the activities which you were supposed to do and learn more activities.
So that means, the conclusion out of this statement is that a human performs anything multiple times or 1,000 times, can learn as a learning engine because he's having that ability to do that naturally.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
There are millions of neurons in our brain, millions. If most of the people don't use it also. We keep ourselves so idle. We are so stuck in, doing just the things which we are supposed to do.
Tell me one thing. I was talking to a person in our network. He said it's a very traditional thing that we have heard our grandfather used to say, that a person who uses too much of his brain either goes mad or he is just wasting his brain capacity. It's really important to just store it and just keep it to us. By listening to you, what I got to understand that it's completely null and void, because the more we use it, the more we are expanding it and connecting new neural networks.
When you are born, your brain, the matter, there are two matters. There is gray matter and white matter. So as you keep on learning, the white matter starts turning into gray matter. Okay. So obviously, overuse of anything is obviously bad. Your brain needs rest as well.
Really?
I'm not saying that. It's like a machine, If you keep on using something, if it does not get time to recover, then you are overusing it. So you must give obviously the rest it needs to. So it is very much applicable in terms of neurorehab as well. If I am making my patient do an activity for 16 hours a day, I must give that person rest as well to recover. Otherwise, when a person suffers stroke, the brain goes into a fatigue mode, There is fatigue in the brain because it has suffered an insult. So it wants to rest, but I cannot give that rest to him, because if that goes into rest, then obviously the person suffers with physical ailments. But maintaining the balance is important. You have to give adequate rest as well, so that the fatigue or it doesn't empower, the recovery. The fatigue has to be managed. Okay. So if somebody is doing a lot of things and not giving himself proper rest also, then you might see that the person will not be able to perform adequately. So everything has to be balanced. Any battery will also lose its power,
power.
So as I said, it is a very scientific approach which you have to make in normal life, or obviously in terms of neurorehab as well.
Tell me something. I really understood what you have said. Tell me about this. we as 21st century individuals and intellectuals go to gym, perform physical activities, do high endurance, intensive physical strengthening. All of that is pretty much which is really beneficial for the physical ability and tensile strength of the body. But tell me, I've seen quite less people or quite less individual who talk about the mental health, which is, I think, by listening to is quite important. I think, if not less but equally important as physical health. And whenever a person talks about mental health, he's been treated that are you a mental that you are going to a doctor or a counselor that you are talking and like discussing your matters. Tell me, as we have seen multiple Gen Zs going to depressions and not having enough amount of pathway defined, they are alone, they are solitary, they are not having someone to talk with. How important in 21st century, or if I reframe it, in 2026, how important is to take care of mental health, which has been treated as a taboo in society? What's that?
So, without a good mental health, a very good physique is a waste. I can term it like this. So, if you talk about, there are two aspects to it. One, who has suffered an illness like stroke. That patient, obviously, as I said, somebody who's able to button up their shirt, do all the normal activities, is not able to do that, activity. Somebody who's been very, very active in their life, and that person is, totally dependent on people around them. That person is bound to be cognitively and mentally affected. So for them it is very, very, very important that along with the rehab, that is why I say neurorehabilitation, it's not physiotherapy. So it is very important that the cognitive and mental well-being specialist is also addressing to the issues of that patient. They are talking, there are things, there are tests, there are ways of us to get that patient more cognitively and mentally strong and respond to the other therapies that he is taking to get better. Okay, so now this comes with respect to a patient. But now, as you said, there are people who are mentally drained and not doing anything. Because I feel the reason to it is absence of a purpose. Absence of a purpose at this point of time in people, in today's generation especially, is missing. There is so much availability of everything very easily that to do something new is missing. And our brain loves challenges. I don't know how many, I don't think if you take 50 people, only 2 of them would be doing any kind of activity which stimulates their brain, playing Sudoku or solving a puzzle, which are exercises of the brain. Who does that? Nobody. We are so much into, building a muscle, having a good physique. But how many people work on challenging the brain in a day-to-day life? Nobody. We all are having a monotonous life. We all do the same kind of activities every single day. So obviously we are not treating your brain as, you only think about a brain or spinal cord only when it gets a kind of injury or something. Otherwise, it's like a normal day-to-day activity. Okay, so challenging the brain, challenging yourself with circumstances which make you think out of the box is very, very important, which is missing in most of the people today. Most of the people today, because it is only, the reason I find is easy availability. At the click of a button, technology is important, but how to use it effectively is equally important.
Yeah, channelizing every resource that you are having.
You should at least spend 15 minutes a day to do something which challenges your brain.
I also want to include one of the aspects of spirituality, like our forefathers used to perform meditation and, like sitting under a tree, having a windy breeze and all of that. So talk about how important is spirituality with respect to neuroscience, because
it can be combined with the mental wellness. It can be combined with the mental wellness because what I am trying to say is spirituality is nothing but awareness. Awareness of you being somebody and
you being you.
You being you. So that again goes missing because we all are not
Not
listening.
purpose-driven.
Purpose driven is a big point, but yes, if you are doing as you said, a simple activity of brushing your teeth, most of the people are thinking, oh, there will be a jam on that road, there will be a drum on that road, oh my god, I have to leave now, I have to close the kitchen, I have to do that. Who is concentrating on the activity that you are doing that point of time? Awareness of somebody being there is
Being
missing.
in the moment.
Yeah, being in the moment. And all this leads to degeneration of the brain cells, because awareness is missing. You being present is missing. So yes, I am not saying these directly contribute to illnesses like stroke or something, but yes, I'm telling you this have an impact indirectly on the increasing amount of lifestyle disorders in this era. If lifestyle disorders are present, that is leading to stroke, that is leading to illnesses such as Alzheimer's. There's so much of degeneration going on inside the brain that people are getting sick at not only the brain, in the body itself, that people are getting sick at a very, very young age. That is all because you're not conscious of what you're doing.
True. To conclude our conversation, I'm really awestruck by the amount of knowledge that you have shared with me today. Just to conclude our conversation, I really want to it's a question out of the curiosity that I'm having. What happens is, if I'm talking with you and we are having a good conversation, I'm feeling happy about it, I'm feeling enthusiastic about it, and I really want to talk more about it. But some of the times, if all of a sudden you scold me, or you're like beat me, or you just say something very abusive to me, all of a sudden I feel like, oh, what happened? And you have just reacted in the way that you haven't reacted. And my hearts feel heavy, and like tears rolling out from my eyes. All of that factors come into consideration. Tell me, physically I can see that I'm crying, I'm happy, but in the back end, what all is happening in the mind when I'm just feeling happy about a moment, or I'm feeling sad about a moment, and does it have an after effect even when I have passed by this moment? And that's the reason many of the times we think about a memory and we feel bad about it. So how mind take all of this? Just I want to hear your raw thoughts on this, like how to
see whatever we go through in our day-to-day life, as I said, has got a blueprint. Subconsciously, even if you're not thinking about it actively, they are there. Okay, so your body responds according to that only. This is the simple theory. So sometimes even if you have got through a abuse or attack or something which is just happened to you, but sometimes you might have got a blueprint of that kind of same insult which you have suffered at the back of your mind, then those things get related. So it obviously affects it affects the mind and body very badly, because to curb that thing, to curb most of the lifestyle disorders, or as you said, these negative impacts which come onto the mind and body, to curb all this, it is very important that a person is not isolated. That person is obviously connected, not only with the what should I say, they should always have a good circle around them, because it helps. It really helps when people talk to each other. A lot of lifestyle disorders can also be curbed. That is something which I have also realized after a long time, that you need to have good people around you who understand what you are going through, who have the same kind of experiences and understanding of the way to deal with those problems. So if you connected to these if you connected to recovery after stroke or something, you always need to talk to people who have undergone that problem. Someone going through a trauma can give a much better lesson than somebody who is just giving you education without any basis on that, just because you are entitled to give so. So I feel that in normal lives also, and in case of recovery after diseases, it is important that we stay connected. We stay connected so that the experiences that we share are gives us benefit to recover from that trauma.
I really, like seen people who are sad, who are not having people to talk around, but whenever you go to them, they're not open to talk about it, or they're not open for any kind of new ideas. But when you nudge them 1 and 2 and twice, and all of a sudden when they outburst, they just hug you, and they just like pour everything they got towards you, because they need someone who really understands them and respect them, love them.
All these kind of changes are leading to lifestyle disorders as well.
Yes.
So you cannot just blame your habits to getting a lifestyle disorder. I have seen people who, I'm not promoting smoking or drinking on this channel, I'm really not, but I've seen people who are happy, who just have a drink or two, are with their friends. They do not have any illness, because that social circle of them that protects them. But somebody who is in isolation and does just keeps on overthinking, has undergone a lot of stress all alone, and then has got these habits, it obviously has a very negative and adverse effect. So lifestyle disorders in today's time is not just the result of you having any bad influences or something. It is all related. And the topic might have got deviated from what we started, but if you think broadly, all these aspects make a human. If you remember, if you see, our grandparents or the times before that did not have all these lifestyle disorders. Did not have, because the aspects of living was completely different in those era, in those times. People were more, if you have seen or read a book called Ikigai, that is about a small town in Japan. If I'm not wrong, the name of that town is Otanawa or Ottawa, I don't remember. They do not run out of purpose in their life. Even if they have finished their active working life, they commit themselves to some or the other kind of purpose. It might be social, it might be education, it might be helping other people, or in their society they might be doing something or the other. And when you are running out of purpose, that is the only reason that you start deviating to things which spoil your lifestyle. And when you spoil your lifestyle, you're bound to get diseases like stroke. So you have to maintain all the aspects of your life for you to not
become
to
a
get
better human.
Yeah,